Oh, sorry. Apparently I thought I was live, but I wasn't. All right. So here's the thing. If anybody jumps in the chat, you can call me out when I'm wrong. You can say whatever you want. I don't care. This is based on a live I went to a while ago. Okay? And uh, basically, there was some things I got wrong. The guy there said that I was a expert. First of all, I've never claimed to be an expert on anything other than eating and sleeping. I have interests and a lot of knowledge on a lot of different subjects, like prepping and sailboats, because I've been studying and learning. That doesn't make me an expert. Matter of fact, my sailing skills are probably pretty poor. I need to get a lot better. Okay? But I'm learning and trying. My cryptocurrency knowledge is based on interest, not as an expert, just interest. I have a basic understanding of it because I look into it and I study it. Okay? That doesn't make me an expert. So when he called me an expert, yes, he was wrong. I think he was more like kidding around. All right? So to set the thing straight, the other thing I consider myself an expert of is eating and sleeping. Everything else is an interest or work related where I'm good at it. That doesn't make me an expert. Never claimed to be, never will. So I'll set the story straight on that. Now, when it comes to the date when it came to Israel, when Israel, the Jewish people were sent to Israel, I was flustered at the time. I was irritated, getting annoyed, very flustered. And I got the date wrong. But in the process of getting the date wrong, I also said I couldn't remember the exact date. And it was somewhere around the 50s, 60s. I was wrong. It was in the 40s, 1948. Okay. And those of you who called that out, fine, you were right. And I was wrong. And whatever. I admit that one. Now, when it came down to the other things that were my opinions based on my research and my knowledge of the situations over there in the Middle East, that's because I have a basic interest in it. That still, again, does not make me an expert. That means I research and I look at it from all sides. I look at it from the non-American side as well as the American side. Okay? I also listen to actual Israel soldiers. If you want to hear them, all you have to do is look up Breaking the Silence. On YouTube, you can find it. And it's Breaking the Silence and add the word Israel, and it will help narrow it down for you. You will hear what actual Israel soldiers, people who were on the front lines over there, what they have to say about the situation. Former Israel soldiers, mind you, because they would be severely punished if they were doing it while they were still in Israel. Or not in Israel, let me rephrase that, in the Israel military. Let me rephrase that, sorry. However, go to them, look them up, and listen. And if you're one of those people who do to soldiers that you don't like hearing what they say, shame on you. Like when it comes down to it, when we did it with soldiers from the Iraq War, Vietnam War, the Korean War. We did it to a lot of soldiers that came home and said, this is what really happened. This is what's really going on. And we always told them, sit down, shut up. We don't want to hear you, but we'll give you a medal and have you parade. But when their opinions came out about it, we told them that. If you're one of those people, shame on you. And these are Israel soldiers, the former Israel soldiers, coming out and talking. Listen to what they have to say. They're on the front lines. They know more than I do. They know more than you do. Unless, of course, the person that's watching this is an Israel soldier, okay? Or in Israel or in Palestine, all right? Those people know more than we do, and this is a way for you to understand what they actually think. So, yes, please go to Breaking the Silence and then type in Israel just so you can get a better thing. And I think there's a web page for it too. I'm still irritated over what happened. Now, another thing, my understanding of the Jewish religion, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think so, is that they don't believe Jesus Christ is the Messiah. I'm sorry, guys, but if you can't accept that Jewish people believe that, then you can't really say that you stand with Jewish people. Now, can you? You stand for Israel, and the only reason at that point you stand for Israel, not the Jewish people, because there is a difference, mind you. The only reason at that point you stand for Israel, if you're a Christian or one of those evangelical Christians or one of those people, is because you want to see the next coming of Christ. And you don't care who dies or how much pain happens. And if that's the case, and that's what you're hoping for, and that's all you care about, and you don't care about all the innocent children that are dying over there, and all those innocent people, then I got news for you. Then you need to have a coming to Jesus moment. Okay? For all you Christians out there that believe in all that, you need to have a coming to Jesus moment if that's what you believe. If that's how you feel. All right? Because I believe the Bible preached somewhat love, or it's supposed to, and all that stuff. Yeah. Everybody's supposed to be God's children or some crap like that. So, I'll put it that way. Y'all need to have a coming to Jesus moment. If you feel that the coming of Christ is more important than innocent lives not being slaughtered and acts that are really similar to what happened in World War II happening again. So yeah, listen to these soldiers that are actually on the front lines, the ones that you say at one point you supported because you supported Israel and they were in the Israel military. So for those people of you that are doing that, please check it out. It's kind of what I'd say a good way to actually find out what people really think. And those are, remember, Israel soldiers, Jewish Israel soldiers. Now, I'm going to end with this. I want you to think of one other thing. There are people over there of Muslim descent that are Jewish. Yeah, there's a few of them, quite a few. And they are treated no different than the other Muslims that are being persecuted. So here's my question. If it's a religious war, like you were all saying, then if they're Muslim and Jewish, why are they being persecuted? They're being persecuted for being of Arab descent. Let me rephrase, not Muslim Jewish, Arab Jewish. So you have Arab Jewish people over there being persecuted the same as the Muslim Jewish or the Muslim people over there because they're still Arab. So is this really a war or is it just an attack on an open air prison? Because that's what it is. It's an open air prison filled with little children that were born there. And even people that have converted to Judaism or Christianity, if they are of Arab descent, are still persecuted and treated almost exactly the same as those that have not. Doesn't make sense, does it? If they were of Jewish belief and converted, then shouldn't they be treated the same as other people that are Jewish over there if it's all about religion? I'll end on that note. Think about it. It's just a thought.